It is Fireball Friday, everybody. What's going on, Savages? I'm about 2 Fireball and T's in, and I want to talk a little bit about Hashr8 OS, although I don't have anything really like planned out or anything, so let's get after it. What is up, everybody? I literally don't have anything planned. I don't know what we can talk about. I just figured we would just wing it. Last night we talked a lot about, on several different streams, we talked about Hashr8 OS, a new OS, mining operating system that's out there. I ran into some problems with electric in my little space here. And it turns out, I think that I figured out what the problem was, but it ended up being, I think anyway, not a bad, but probably just a UPS that doesn't operate the way it's supposed to. So I had the computer and both the monitors connected to a UPS that had, obviously it was on the battery power side. And I think that what is actually happening is it's not a good enough UPS to quickly switch the power from, let's see, what I think it's got a name. It's like a switched or steady, I can't remember the name, but it's probably the type of UPS I have. It's an APC, but it's just it's an older one. And I think that what was happening was because of the little sag in power, whenever I powered on the rig, it would be just enough to make the UPS think that it needed to go on battery, and it wasn't switching fast enough, so the computer would lose power, right? I think that's what it is, because I've got everything plugged into the same UPS, but they're on the just the power strip side, not the battery side. So it's just the power surge and that's it. And I have powered on and off the rigs a couple of times and I haven't had a problem. I can hear it whenever I turn this rig on. I can hear it do that little clicking thing, but the devices that are plugged into the battery side now are like a laptop power supply or something, so it's not a big deal. And if that loses power for a second, so I think I got it squared away. Although if I, obviously if I lose power, I'm not going to have battery backup, but I'm not really worried about that anyway, because the batteries only last long enough to properly shut down the computer anyway. So, and this computer's been wrecked so many times by all the problems I used to have as far as like losing power. I'm pretty confident that this thing is pretty solid. I mean, I know I shouldn't be, but as far as like just getting the electricity yanked from it, it seems to just be okay with it. Every now and then it'll come up and want to check the hard drive and stuff, but anyway, so there's my story about the electric situation here. I am still messing around with Hashr8 OS. I've got 2 rigs on it now, and pretty solid. There's a few little things with the AMD rig. The NVIDIA rig seems to be just no problem at all. The AMD rig, I tried to put it on ETC, Ethereum Classic. I could only get about maybe 6 or 7 of the 10 cards to come up fully. Like the other ones would be mining at a really extremely low hash rate, and like 7K, 14K, stuff like that. And all these are BIOS modded, and we're definitely 31 plus type mega hash cards on Fhash on other operating systems. So I don't know what the situation is with that. I was just kind of playing around. I didn't spend a lot of time on it. I just recently put this one on CCX. You can see it here, Conceal, and it's actually kicking ass at Conceal. And I'm actually having to use Team Red Miner because I don't know how this is going to work with this OS. I don't know if any of the Hashr8 guys are in here or not. What's up, Michael Sask? Damn the Dane, what's up, man? if they were in here, they would be able to answer this. But what I'm noticing, or what I think I figured out, was if, let's say I wanted to, I think I have to come in here to edit this. I'm going to go edit here and then edit on the actual crypto here. Yeah, so like right here at the bottom where you select the miner, it only had 4 in here, right? Crypto Dredge and Team Red miners. So I'm guessing, but see, I know that XMR Stack is in here because I was using XMR Stack for, but maybe it's an older version. I don't know. I didn't check the actual versions. Maybe it would be something something I need to look at. But as far as the versions goes, maybe it's just an older version that doesn't support Kryptonite Conceal. But that's just one thing I noticed. I don't know. Again, it could just be end user error and I'm just not doing something right. Maybe I can add the miner in. But I went over here to custom mining, and I mean, if you add a miner, it's gonna want, you know, the actual file, the actual executable and stuff for the miner, or possibly a zip file. I don't know how that works, but actually we might be able to find out. Let's see. Go to help. Yeah, all right, so I don't know. This looks like it's only for the coin help, so not necessarily the miner. So it looks like maybe that contextual help is only pointing to coins as for the help. So anyway, again, they're still working on this, and apparently they're doing a revamp of the whole interface, so I'm anxious to see what's going on with that. But I did use Team Red Miner, and honestly, it is actually getting more hash rate than I recall this rig doing on other OSs. So that's kind of a bonus there. It seems like it's not a huge difference, but again, I didn't use Team Red Miner, so Team Red Miner is not what I normally use to mine CCX, and I can show you that on simple mining over here. I'm actually using XMR Stack 2.1. Well, this one's using 2.15 for some reason. This one's using 2.17. So that's what I normally use for CCX, and this I just could not figure out how to get this to work with, get CCX to work with XMR Stack. I don't know. I might just be doing something wrong. No telling. But something else I did notice is the wattage. I don't know if it's maybe because of where it gets the information from, but it appears to be a little bit off. And I say that because let's look at, so this is at the wall. I can show you what's going on at the wall. So you see this rig right here is Scarif is the name of it. And I've got the app for, you know, like power management and stuff like that. And this is at the wall. I don't know if I might have to adjust my focus here. Hang on a second. This is going to be all over the place. You should be able to see that. Okay, so if I go to out here, we've got Scarif rig. See it down there at the bottom. So I click that, and then I click power. You can see up there in the top left, it's 1078 right now. That's the current wattage. So what you're seeing, so it's 1080. We'll just call it 1080 there, and the OS is showing 599. It's a little small, but you can see it right here. It's 599. So I don't know if it's pulling the information from the correct spot or what, but that rig is the only thing plugged into that plug. So that outlet. So it's not like I'm not like cheating by plugging something else into it. That is the only thing plugged in, is that rig. And then let's look at the Kessel rig, which is mining AION right now. So if we go back to front and we go to the Kessel rig here, and then power down there. So it's saying 748. So 745 roughly. And this is saying 613, which I'm okay with that. That's pretty close. You know, it's not going to account for motherboard, memory, processor, all that. You know, maybe, I don't know. It seems like Simple Mining does get pretty close. Maybe they add in like an offset for, you know, peripherals or something, but you know, it's not bad. I mean, it's 100. That makes sense. It's about 150 off. So that's, you know, motherboard, CPU, memory, and all that. But this one is 480 watts off from what this is right here. So maybe that's something that they're working on. Again, this is they're calling it a soft launch. It's not, you know, it's something that they're listening to the community and working on things as they are discovered. So maybe that's something that they're going to fine tune in the future. There's no telling. So anyway, what's up, Secret Recipe? So I always like to show what I'm mining. I'm mining AION and CCX. So there you go. And I am drinking, I didn't bring my Fireball in here, but I do have a Fire Tea here. And I think this is probably my second one. And it's a little strong. All right, so throw over there into the chat what y'all want to talk about, because like I said at the top, I don't have anything planned. I was just gonna kind of chit chat about Hashr8 OS and anything else y'all want to chat about. So I mean, we can analyze a little bit of this here a little bit further, I guess. We can go and do some profitability calculations, which are always fun, because right now in the mining space, the crypto mining space, it is brutal as far as profitability goes. So let's look at Scarif. Scarif is a 10 RX 580 rig, and it is mining CCX at 17.66. Guess I need to hit calculate on that. All right, so check make sure everything's in there. All right. Oh, this is a weird one though, because I don't remember what am I supposed to use for. It's probably Kryptonite R maybe. No, because they don't have. I don't know which one I'm supposed to use. Because CCX does show up on here, and you see it's Kryptonite Conceal. But I guess you can't run an actual calc, so we have to go to the coins. It's not going to show up on there, I guess. So forgot about that. We go to the calculator over here, and we go 17.66. That would actually be I always get this wrong. 17.666, right? Or 660. I think that's right. All right. And then the power was what? I think it was 1,080. My power cost is 11. Everything else is pulled, so calculate. So at least we're in a little bit of profit. We're not getting destroyed on electric costs. We're in 8 cents a day profit, which is, I mean, which is terrible. But at least, you know, we've talked about this a bunch before, and Red Panda's been hitting on it too. I think I was going to do a whole stream about it, but I mean, a little bit of this at this point, as far as mining, home hobby mining type stuff, or even if you have a farm, you know, of 100 GPUs or 500 GPUs or whatever. I mean, I feel for you if you do at this point, but you know, like let's just talk about CCX since we have it up here, and you guys know I'm a pretty big fan of CCX. If I'm looking at this and I see that, okay, I'm mining CCX, it looks like I'm getting about 16 per day, and I could bounce that against what I'm actually seeing, right? Because I have the documentation and, you know, all the spreadsheets that you guys have seen before. So I could bounce that against that and verify that it should be about 16. Go to the pool, you know, check the pool. I think I'm mining on Hero Miners, I believe. Yeah, Hero Miners pool. Which I got to point out that that's really cool that the Hashr8 OS has that information on here, just readily accessible like that. I like that. So that's cool. Anyway, so if I'm getting 16 per day, and that's accurate, and I'm not technically losing money, so at this point, I would say that it's better to put the money into electricity and mine it, because it is a slight profit based on literally right now whenever I click that button, because it could change, you know, in the next minute. But I feel comfortable saying that right now I'm not on the verge of having to go and consider not mining it and just buying the coins, right? So as long as I see a little bit of profit there, then I'm pretty happy about that at this point. You know, we're in a huge down market, especially on the mining side. I mean, you see Bitcoin doing a little bit, right? I mean, it's down a little bit today and yesterday, but for the most part, I mean, it's had a pretty decent year. It went from, you know, 3,200 to 14,000, and then down to whatever it is now, 8,200 or 80. Was it at 8,400? 8,500. So, you know, on the mining side, we've literally seen nothing but a decrease, right? We've seen just straight down over the past year and a half or whatever, even almost, well, yeah, a year and a half. So it's been, you know, it's been super rough, but and I mean, listen, we're all down. I think I posted on Red Panda's video. I was like, listen, man, if someone's telling you that they're making a killing mining right now, they're lying. They are lying, because no one is. I mean, unless you have free electricity, and even then, you're not making a killing, right? I mean, it's not like it was before. It's just, you know, a year and a half ago, it was totally different. Even if you had 0 electric costs, I mean, you're still only talking about, with this particular rig, or with that particular hash rate, still only $3 a day. So a 10 GPU rig, RX 580 rig, is still only making $3 a day roughly. So $90 a month. You know, you're not killing it, dude. You're not gonna be able to convince me that someone's just making a killing mining. It's just not. Is it gonna come back? I don't know. I don't think that it will ever be like it was a year and a half ago. I think that we'll probably see some projects come up and be somewhat profitable more than what you're seeing here. You know, but it's rough. Let's see here. We just do a calculation on an 8 GPU rig. You know, even the highest after electric is 20 cents a day. If it's 0, even if it's 0, you have no electric cost. It's still only $3 a day. All right, so if you have, let's say you just have one RX 580, right? So per RX 580, it's 38 cents. And then and that's, again, guys, this is kind of silly. I mean, I've talked about this a bunch of times too, but doing calculations like this is a little bit silly because, you know, tomorrow it'll be different. The day after that will be different. This is only good. This information is only good if you are literally trying to cash out right now or trying to trade this into something else. That's all this is for. It's almost you know, pointless to even worry about. What I think is important is just knowing, maybe, you know, I mean, I don't know, maybe every day you go to what to mine. You come in here to one of these profit calculators and you say, okay, I'm mining CCX again today, right? I'm mining at, and maybe you don't care, but I'm mining at 17,660 at 1,080 watts at 11 cents per kilowatt hour. So I went up a penny since just a few minutes ago, right? So maybe once a day you come in here and you check this out and you go, okay. You know, you also want to kind of pay attention to the difficulty and stuff. So you want to pay attention to your rewards and what you plan on making also. But yeah, so as long as this isn't a huge negative number, then you can go to sleep at night knowing that what you're doing is just basically dollar cost averaging into this project, into this coin that you are interested in like a really slow drip, right? You're earning 16 a day, which if you bought it, it would cost you $3 a day, roughly, right? Well, maybe a little bit more, or a little bit less. So a little bit less than $3 a day, probably $2.50 a day right now, based on the cost of CCX. If you wanted to buy 16 CCX. That makes sense. So if you think about it, you know, a lot of people don't even worry about this. You know, if they're just used to paying for their electric or whatever, you know, home hobby miners, they're just used to it. But if you have ever bought crypto on an exchange or anything like that, then it's pretty easy, right? Once you get, you know, money into crypto, then you can trade it back around, and it's not that difficult. You know, from one crypto to another, it's not that difficult. So if you look at this and you go, okay, I like this project, slow drip, dollar cost average, $3 a day, every day, right? If you check it every day and it's about this each day, then you're good. Then you can say, okay, I'm not losing money. It wouldn't be beneficial for me to just go ahead and buy the crypto, right? So it makes sense in this case. Now, if I'm looking at this and it shows friggin' like -$6 or negative, even if it was -$3 a day or -$2 a day, I would be buying the crypto instead of mining it, right? Unless you want to be just extremely generous and just support the project, which I've done. I mean, there's been a lot of negative days for CCX, so it just depends on what you can deal with, what makes you feel comfortable, or what you decide on, right? So everybody's different. Not everybody's going to have the same outlook on it. I just think that as long as I'm not negative and I like the project and I believe in it and I think that it's going to increase in value in the future, like I do CCX, then I'm good with it. CCX, Rio, all those ones that I talk about, AION. Yeah, I mean, definitely not financial advice. You can see that on the little ticker there, but those are projects I'm definitely interested in. And Zell, I got 5, I think, that I'm super interested in. And yeah, so that's the way I look at it. Throw it into the comments and chat about what I'm talking about here, if that makes sense. I'm not, it's hard to go from what we saw a year and a half ago and deal with, or 2 years ago, and deal with what we're seeing now. And the people that have been here, I've only been in this since February of last year. So it's only been a year and whatever months. Might have been March. So in all honesty, full disclosure here, I have never seen a real full bull market, right? Especially on the mining side. Since I got into it, it has been a steady downturn since the very beginning. It has been brutal, right? But I'm still here. I'm still talking to you guys. I'm still mining. I've still got stuff. I mean, this particular rig, Scarif, was off for a month, and it didn't bother me because of this, right? So I knew that I could just go and buy the crypto, and plus, like I said, I was doing stuff in the room here, painting and stuff. So it was just off, and I didn't. Right now, I have to have a electric, extension cord from another room in here because of how my house is wired and stuff. So. So it has been off, but now it's up and running now. But yeah, so I haven't seen a really awesome mining market. I mean, there were a few times there, like whenever Grin first launched, that was good because if you were in early on that, you were able to accumulate pretty well right early on. Actually, I think you were actually better off to wait. If you just had like a GPU rig and you were small, I think it was actually better to wait about 3 or 4 days because there was a lot of people that pointed their rigs at it right at first, and then they switched back over to something else once they mined some up. And so yeah, I mean, there's been a few little highlights over that 18 months or whatever it's been, but for the most part, it's been pretty ugly. But like I said, I'm still here. You guys are still watching, watching me mine, conceal for months now. And AION. What's up, Cash 1020? What's up, Shuby? I don't know if I said hi to everybody that's in here right now. I think I got everybody. The Chinese government. Well, you saw today, didn't they? Here's the thing about China, and everybody's pretty accurate with this. If you are on YouTube, if you watch other YouTubers and get on Twitter, crypto Twitter, everybody's pretty much of the same mindset that China will say something really great about whatever it is. In this case, it was crypto. And then, a week later, 5 days later, whatever, they drop the hammer and it's something totally different, right? They just completely flip. And I think that's what happened today. There was some news that came out today that what was it? I'm really bad at remembering. I let things go like halfway in and I don't remember names or actual, businesses or anything like that. But there was something that came out today where they were basically coming across as anti-crypto. But I don't remember exactly what it was. And they being China. So it you know, true to form, they had the great things come out a couple weeks ago, great comments about it, and then, you know, a couple weeks later or a week and a half later or whatever it was, they kind of changed their mind, changed their tune a little bit. I don't know. Honestly, I just don't trust anything out of there. It's just, you know, they're not about freedom. They're not about freedom of speech. Nothing, right? And you can see that there was, if anybody follows Richard Hart, some of the things that he says are pretty brilliant, I guess you could say. But one of the things that he did say, he was upset. You know, he's coming out with Hex coin. Anyway, so he's got a crypto project that he's working on called Hex, and he was concerned. Actually, it wasn't even about Hex. It was about trying to see. I'm going to forget the actual conversation, but I don't know if it was about Hex or about whenever he was promoting and trying to promote Bitcoin back in the day. One of those two things. He was concerned that he never heard anything from China, right, about whatever it was he was talking about or promoting, and come to find out, you know, he didn't put two and two together, and he realized that they don't have Twitter, they can't communicate outside of the country very easily like we can, you know, and Europe can. So you got to keep that in mind. Like what you see coming out of China is what they want you to see, and that's it. So I remember there was actually someone posted a video, I don't know about authenticity and whether or not it's real or not, but it looked like it was a Chinese citizen that was streaming. She was doing some type of, I want to say it was workout stuff, like a workout stream. And I guess you can't do that. So during her stream, the police came to her apartment and took her away on the stream. Again, I don't know if it was real or not. It looked pretty real. But that kind of shit that's crazy, right? Like, you know, that's like right now, because I am talking about China or whatever, the police come to my door. Hey, Savage, I heard you talking about China. We're going to take you away. I think that's what that is. That's crazy. That is insane. I don't want to live like that. So anyway, I don't, you know, I'm kind of getting off on a tangent, but I don't really trust much that comes out of China. Not because of the people, but because they being China as the government is only going to let you see what they want you to see. They have all the stuff blocked off, and it's crazy. It's actually crazy. The ability to link OC profiles to algos, I think that's coming in the next updates. Yep. Again, this is kind of a soft launch, is what they called it. So they wanted more users, right? They wanted more people to start using it so that they could identify more things. Because you know, the more users mining different coins, different things, and going through the process, going through the OS, you know, how navigating everything and getting to everything is important. And they really want that feedback in Discord. You could probably, if you don't have Discord, you could probably hit them up on Twitter also. You know, and if you have something, if you don't have either one of those methods, you could probably just hit me up in the chat, and I could relay it to them if you want to. Or comments, right? So I can let them know what's going on with it. Oh, Shuby, you got one too many today? I'm actually on, this is my second one, and it's pretty strong, but I'm not feeling it. I ain't feeling nothing yet. That usually means it's just going to hit me all at once. So yeah, cool stuff. I'm looking forward to the updates on Hashr8 OS. I think that they are on a really good track. I like it so far. So we'll see where it goes. What's up, Dan? I see you over there. Don't get weird. Anytime somebody says, hey, I've got something to tell you, usually gets kind of weird after that. What's up, Dan? What you need to tell me? Oh, the Fireball. Oh, yeah. I forgot you ordered Fireball. Yeah, that's cool, man. We can have a drink next week. See, I told you. I even mentioned that whenever you told me about it. I was like, man, I hope it's not a knockoff or some fake stuff. Yeah, as far as Hashr8 OS goes, you know, I'm not like associated with them or affiliated in any way, but I am talking to, you know, some of the devs or the team there, not devs, but the team, and they're, again, you know, like I was saying last night, I know the stream was kind of long and it was chaotic there in the middle as soon as I hit the power switch on that rig, and all hell broke loose in here. But as far as losing connectivity and power and all that, but it they are, it's a mining operating system built by miners for miners, and they're living up to that. So there's things that, you know, we do a lot of as miners that they are going to try to include in the OS itself. And that's all I'll say. I'll just leave it right there. There's a lot of stuff that it sounds like they're working on a ton of stuff. Additional features and capabilities and stuff like that. So I think, you know, honestly, I think that we just need to keep our eye on it. It does work right now. Again, it's a soft launch, so you kind of can expect a little bit of problems here or there. But all the OSs do. They all have problems because it's so hard to stay up on all the miners, all the technology, all the different you know, drivers for NVIDIA and drivers for AMD and all the different miners that are released, and all these different, they're all stovepiped, right? So you've got one, you know, XMR stack. You've got this development cycle for XMR stack, and they don't really talk like outside of that stovepipe, right? I mean, they might communicate with the OSs, but there's a ton of OSs, so I don't really see a miner developer always talking to all of those different OSs, right? So it's on the OS developers to know that there are new miners out there. You know, there's 50, I think. Yeah, I think Hashr8 OS says that there's like 50 miners in here already. It seems like I pointed out at the top there, there's, I don't know how the associations goes with adding a type of coin like I did CCX, and I wanted to use XMR stack and I couldn't figure out how to do it. But yeah, so it's really hard. So all these stovepiped dev cycles and cycles for updates and things like that, it's tough. I mean, I couldn't imagine trying to have a mining OS and keep it up to date so that everybody's happy. That's going to be really difficult. But you know, I think they're gonna be able to do it. So I look forward to it. Lots of updates and cool stuff happening. But yeah, it's just so hard to stay on top of everything. The difference between Hashr8 OS and Hive. Well, as far as like install, it goes pretty much about the same way. Almost the same steps. We covered that last night. You know, getting it up and running and stuff is very similar to any other mining OS. If you're running off of USB or SSD, you know, it's all about the same as far as that goes. It is a Linux distribution. The way that I understand it, it is actually their own distribution. So they're not. They'll be doing their own updates. They're not going to follow cycles of. I guess it would be like a kernel update of other OSs like Ubuntu and or Debian, all that stuff. I think that they're going to have their own. It's just their own OS, which I think is kind of cool. So that way they pretty much own it, right? And they don't have to worry about updates coming from other areas. At least that's the way I understand it. I could be completely off base there, but so that is cool. That's a part that's cool. I think that the other benefit is definitely going to be the fact that they are active in the community and they are going to listen to requests made by miners, right? And they should be able to implement a lot of things that they kind of already know that we want because they're all miners also. You know, I talked about last night, there's pluses and minuses to that. The for miners by miners development of an OS, because you know there's, like I said, there's pluses and minuses, because the example I gave last night is you wouldn't want your car to be designed by mechanics for mechanics, and you wouldn't want your OS, your mining OS, to be by developers for developers, right? You wouldn't want your mining OS to be developed for developers. That just wouldn't make sense. But in the case of Hashr8 OS, it doesn't look like that's going to be an issue, because it seems like they've got a good team of developers. They've got the miners feeding the information, and you know, I don't know, it's just a good team, and I think that they're getting things ironed out, and it's going to benefit us all in the long run. And I think that these updates that they're talking about putting in here, I don't want to like specify what they are, because it's not like insider information or anything, but it just seems like, I don't know, I don't want to speak to something that I'm not really 100% on. But I do see that there's activity on the other end that is probably going to be pretty huge in the future, and some things that are going to change the interface and how things are going to look and operate, and what information is going to be in the OS that they're going to include in here that will benefit all the miners. It's really, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. They do need to run spell check on everything though, because throughout here there's all kinds of spelling errors and stuff, but that's just something that I notice, and it's an impression thing and an attention to detail thing. You know, if you've got a bunch of misspelled words, it just doesn't look good. So but just know that they're fixing all that, and you know, again, it's a soft launch. Don't think that this is like fully ready. And mining OSs, to be honest, they're never fully ready, because like I said earlier, there's all these updates, there's all this stuff that happens that, you know, forces you to make changes to your OS. I mean, think about what happened whenever AMD released I think it was 18.30 drivers. It basically bricked all the mining that was going on. If you updated to AMD 18.30 and you were trying to mine with the GPUs, it wasn't going to work. So things like that can affect, you know, again, it's just something that they're going to have to stay on top of. It's going to be difficult. I mean, it's you know, it's keeping on top of all that stuff is I wouldn't want to do it. So yeah, it's tough. But you see what I hope I'm coming across and you understand what I'm trying to say. It's I think the benefit, you know, you mentioned Hive compared to Hashr8. The benefit is just being able to throw a comment in the Discord, like, hey, we would like to see this, and it kind of goes on the list. And then if a lot of people want it, maybe they'll implement it. And with other OSs, you don't really get that. I'll just leave it at that. I'm trying to catch up on chat here. Y'all want the intro? The music? Is that what you want? Is that good? Is that what y'all wanted? Was the intro? What y'all should say is, let's say, if y'all want to see the intro from now on, you have to say, I want Cobus, because that's who it is. Oh, you're talking about playing a song. I can't play a song, I'll get in trouble. So, let's see here. I'll probably go over here. So this here is the guy who did my intro. He's pretty awesome. And I've been following this guy for, he's a YouTube drummer. I've been following him since like 2007, believe it or not. He's like sick, so sick. Y'all are crazy. All right, let's see here. Like, yeah, he's got such a cool story. You can see these older videos here, where he was in a church like over in South Africa, and then, you know, you can see like the progression and how things got better and better and better. You know, now he works at, I think he works at Drum Channel out in California, I think. And seems to be doing okay. Got a new video here, it looks like. He dyed his hair a little bit. Yeah, he's sick. All right, so what else are we going to talk about? Why does it do this? Like, it did this earlier today too. It like took all my videos off of here whenever I went to my channel. Weird. There they are. Huh. Yeah, I haven't figured out why you guys can't hear the sound from my desktop very well, because I'm I mean, the levels that I'm seeing here are just fine. I mean, they look like you guys should be hearing it really well. I don't know why it's like that. I thought maybe it might have had to do with the background music. So I turned that off this time, and I guess it still didn't work very well. I mean, I guess, let's see. I'll play around with it for a second here and see if... See here. I'm gonna go back to a video and play it and see if I can. I'm gonna just keep playing around with this while y'all are BSing over there. And just let me know if the sound is good or not. You're probably not hearing anything right there. Okay, give me a second. I'm just going through all the different options here. Give me a second. Okay, so was there any sound on that at all? Yeah, he's kind of badass. That was probably a little bit loud. Hang on. Let me turn my level down a little bit. All right, there we go. That should be pretty good right there. You probably should hear me pretty well. Yeah, I'm on Windows. Did that sound pretty loud? I mean, was the level pretty good there at the end? Once I once I turn the volume up on YouTube, should be all right. Yeah, so back to mining. Hey, what's up, Yashnik? What is up, man? We're just chilling, listening to some Cobus and talking about Hashr8 OS a little bit, and you can see I'm mining AION. So that should make you happy, at least a little bit. Voice chat in my Discord. Isn't there one in there? I see a SavageMine voice chat in there. Maybe it's just not visible. Hang on a second. Shuby, see if it showed up now. Do a refresh or something. Can't believe that Verge has an $80 million market cap. It blows me away. If y'all haven't heard the news, yeah, at like noon today, I guess, or noon yesterday. I don't know, yesterday or today, I don't remember. They, I guess that PayPal was the primary purpose where models and stream. I guess Pornhub has like a streaming service or something. I don't know, but whatever. However, they were getting tipped or paid or whatever on Pornhub, it was through PayPal, and PayPal just abruptly said, you know, no more. So I don't know if you guys remember, but Verge, I want to say that Pornhub was the first one to start accepting Verge. So now, basically, Verge is, I don't know if it's the only method, but it seems like it's the method of choice, you know, by models on Pornhub, I guess now. So I'm gonna stop saying Pornhub. But anyway, so that is why you're seeing this this pump here. No pun intended there on the pump thing. But anyway, yeah, so that's what this is all about, apparently. You would think it would be a little bit higher than that, but I don't know.
People. Hello, test.
What's up, Shuby?
Hello, test.
Shuby, can you hear me? I was talking to you in Discord there. At least I think I was. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know what PayPal's thinking. It seems like it would be a bad, yeah, like you said, seems like it would be a bad choice, but there's no telling. I don't know. Don't get into it that much. But that's what's going on with that. Yashnik, it looks like it's time to buy some more AION. Down below 8 cents again. Bill's down a little bit. This is one that just blows me away, man. Golly, down below 2 cents. This isn't even like this isn't even a micro cap. This is like basically a no cap. $24 volume. I don't get it. I don't get it. Such a cool project. Oh man, what's going on here? Oh, somebody bought $1 of it. Or volume. Okay. Okay. Yikes. These guys were hitting me up on Twitter too, saying that they had something coming out or something that they're working on. And you know, I mentioned this a while back, how a lot of these projects, a lot of projects that I look at and kind of try to stay on top of, a lot of them have been quiet, really quiet. But a little bit of that is the market, but a lot of them have been super quiet. And Swap is one of them. They've been really quiet for an extended period of time. CCX was pretty quiet, but I knew what they were doing. They're pretty active in Discord and stuff, so, and Twitter, so they were doing the whole consensus thing and figuring out what they're doing and working on what the community wanted, basically, right? Yeah, so Swap not looking good at this point, although that's interesting. I mean, it's like zero volume. I don't know what that means. How it could be. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not even 100,000 market cap, and let's see what it looks like on what to mine over here. I would say that it might be at risk if it's that low. market cap, it might be at risk of being removed. And there's some new ones in here. I don't even know what this is. What is Exosis? I don't even know what that is. I haven't gone down through here in quite some time. A lot of the usual suspects except for that Exosis. And this one's kind of new too. I think I did a video on them in the Random Coin Mining Show, I think. Ether Social, or I was going to. Yeah, they must have just released a new algo. And that's why that Equihash0 was showing up over here. It wasn't highlighted yet. Yeah, Yeah, I think the sound is good, Shuby. On my end, anyway. Or are you talking about Discord? I only talked to you for just a second on there because I don't want to like have feedback and people aren't gonna. I'm using the same mic, so like I can't separate that out, you know. So who in here is having a drink besides Shuby? Because I know Shuby is. Let me see if this one project is still in here. There was one that was pumping, yeah, 6,768%. Block V. I've never even heard of it, but it's ranked 33rd, 33. That's crazy. That's a legit chart right there. Just kidding. Why do they not have just where I can click one day in here? Oh, they do. Come on. Not bad. Yeah, that's pretty normal. Pretty normal activity there. Yeah, anytime you see like stuff like this, I wouldn't touch this. You could not get me to put $1 into this thing. It went from 0.009 to 9 cents almost. Wow. I mean, it's got a pretty decent amount of volume. But that's not really that much when compared to the market cap. I mean, market cap is 233. Does anybody know what this is? I don't even know what it is. Yeah, I think what you'll probably see on that particular one is probably by tomorrow you'll see basically a straight line down. I don't know though. I mean, it's kind of weird that it's kind of hanging out up there, but I don't know. This is super dangerous. I mean, stuff like this, it looks very very manipulated, very bot-like, I guess you could say. I mean, the volume and stuff, the way it looks is just kind of crazy. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, I got off on this $7,000 or 7,000% increase here. Kind of crazy. Oh, there's no telling Dan the Dane. There's no telling why that was doing that. No telling at all. Maybe try to find news on it, I guess, but... Are you leaving or are you drinking, Dan? Yeah, this is so weird. Crypto Zombie probably brought it up today too. I didn't watch his episode today, so I don't know, but probably talked about it. Cheers, man. I just took another swig myself. Yeah, I would definitely recommend if you're into mining at all. Obviously, you are if you're, well, not obviously, but you probably are if you're watching the channel here. But I would definitely keep an eye on this OS. Seems like it's going to be pretty awesome in the future. It's pretty good now, but I think that they're going to do a lot of updates to make it, you know, even better. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to that. So, Shuby, you're on this one too many kick. All right, let's go and look at this. One too many. So I want to be able to play it. I'm not a country guy at all. Like, not even a little bit.
Come from around 6 o'clock saying he called hankering for a honky tonk. Wants a nice cold beer and a country song, but he didn't want to stay out all night long. Well, I ain't the kind to let a buddy drink alone, but I can't turn it off once I turn it on. There's no stopping me once I get.
You like that kind of music? Shoot me. I'm not yeah, I mean, I grew up in the country, but my parents listened to country. I'm more of a George Jones, Willie Nelson, Kenny Rogers, you know, that's the country that I'm used to. I'm not used to this stuff. Not even a little bit. I don't even know who Luke Combs is. I have no idea. That's funny. I guess maybe I should get out more. Yeah, I kind of don't like whenever I don't have anything really planned. I had to work all day, and I went to the gym after work, and I just didn't really like plan anything. You know, I didn't have any like agenda or anything for the show. So, yeah, Garth Brooks is good. I like Garth. I like having topics to actually cover, and I just don't right now. I don't know what to talk about. Other than this swap dump here. It's kind of crazy. I am somewhat of a private person, but I will tell you that I work in... I know it's weird saying that. I'm a private person, but here I'm streaming on YouTube. I work in IT, which actually brings up another point, because I can tell you this, like, one of the things I regret the most is that as far as like Bitcoin goes and crypto, because I'm in IT and I've been in IT a really long time, I heard about it. I heard about it whenever it first launched back in 2009. I heard about it. And whenever I first heard about it, I was saying, my very first thought was, which was so naive and so stupid at the time, but I'm a little bit older and wiser now, and I look at things a lot differently than I did back then, even just 10 years ago. But my first thought was, yeah, the government's never going to allow that. That was my first thought. whenever I first heard about Bitcoin and crypto and all that, and I was like, that's not going to work. And also, I probably even, I don't know if I remember actually thinking it, but I probably did think that it's not backed by anything, so how would it work, and all those general things that if you told someone about Bitcoin today, they would say. That's how I was. And it's really frustrating looking back on it, knowing and watching all this happen. You know, I wasn't into it a lot, but I did hear about it because I was being in IT. You know, it's kind of hard not to at least hear something. And yeah, so all this time passed, and then I had a friend of mine from back whenever I was in the Navy. You know, we kind of reconnected after, I think, honestly, it was probably on Facebook, you know, that we got kind of reconnected. And he was like, hey, man, you really should look into, you know, mining and crypto and check this out and all that stuff. And at first I was like, I don't even want to deal with it. Because you know, here's what happens, right? And this is what most of us probably experienced, was just life. I mean, whenever you're thinking about life, you know, and just getting by each day, and, you know, paydays and paying the bills and worrying about relationships, and if you have kids, worrying about kids, and all that stuff gets in the way, right? And you start and you kind of focus on those things that are important. But I can tell you this, the friend of mine from the Navy, he mentioned it to me, and I finally broke down and looked into it, and within 5 minutes I was like, wow, I cannot believe that I let this slide by me like this. Because it only takes, if you just look at the Bitcoin white paper and you start reading it, and you don't even have to be really into tech, but if you just start reading it and know what the problems were beforehand with the double spend and all the problems, because crypto has been attempted before, way back in the 90s. I think it was the mid 90s. There was like DigiToken or something like that, or DigiCash or something. So it's been tried before, but the problem was always that double spend. And whenever, you know, basically, how would you verify that those coins hadn't been spent already? And then Satoshi Nakamoto wrote the Bitcoin white paper and said, hey, I think I figured this out. This is the way that we can do it. Boom, off it goes, right? And if you read that, if you read the Bitcoin white paper with an open mind and just understand, and not only that, but, you know, the whole other issue was the crash in the market crash of 2000 and what was it, 2006, 2007 is whenever things really started happening. That was another thing, because I had just bought a house, and within a year of me buying that house, the value of the house had dropped by more than 50%. And I was so frustrated and so mad that, honestly, at that point, I should have, in 2008, 2009, I should have discovered Bitcoin, because I was so upset at what had happened. And if you guys have never seen the movie, if you want to see a really great movie, I think it's called The Big Short. That movie, I can watch that movie over and over and over, and every time it actually increases my anger every time. You know, and it was about the housing crisis and what happened, and how the thing that pisses me off the most, or that pissed me off the most, was the fraud, right? It wasn't the mortgage-backed securities and what were they, all the derivatives and stuff. All that stuff has been in markets forever. It was shady the way that it was being done, and all that stuff. But the thing is that the fraud was what was really frustrating and pisses me off the most, where the rating agencies that rated bonds or rated securities, right, AAA, you know, AA, and all that stuff, how they were being paid by, and the movie talks about this, and it goes over all this stuff. they go over this pretty well, where it was the fraud, it was the agency or the security companies paying the rating agencies fees to give them a good rating, right? And all that is bullshit, and that is what pisses me off the most. Anyway, I mean, I'm going to go off on a freaking tangent here, but my point is that I should have been really tuned in to what Bitcoin was about, and let's say that in 2009 somehow I stumbled across the Bitcoin white paper. I wasn't on Reddit. I wasn't doing that because I was more in IT and just network security and all that, stuff like that. So I really wasn't. I had a life going on outside of work, so I wasn't really in tune with Reddit and all the stuff that was going on then. And actually, another aspect of this that probably hurt me was, this is going to sound weird, but I used to have a TV in my office at work, and it used to be on CNBC all the time, but they took away our cable. So for many years, definitely before 2008, I haven't had a TV in the office, and it used to be on CNBC all the time. So think about what could have happened. So I look back on this time and I'm like, hey, had I just had a TV with a connection to CNBC, I would have seen Bitcoin over and over and over, because they started talking about it way back then. Maybe not whenever it first launched, but within a year, I think probably it was probably once it hit maybe $1 billion market cap or something that they started actually talking about it. There might have been people on there even before that, but yeah, I would have seen it, right? Because I've done stocks and stuff like that in the past. So yeah, I would have seen it, and then maybe got involved in it. At least took the time to read the white paper. Anyway, good grief, I'm going off. But my friend mentioned it that I was in the Navy with. I looked up the white paper. I started reading it, and I thought, to myself, that I'd made a huge mistake, that I wasn't involved in this way early on, right? And it's actually something I think about and I struggle with even today, because I'm like, man, Bitcoin used to be 0.003 cents. I could have bought it, right? I mean, it's just hard to, it's definitely a hard pill to swallow, right? So anyway, yeah, that's my little, I should have got involved in Bitcoin earlier story. So what's up, YouTube watcher? But yeah, that stuff, that whole market crash and all that stuff, it really bothered me a lot. I was primed, man. I should have been on top of, because I can remember thinking, there has to be another way. And you know how many people went to jail for that whole debacle? I think one person. I think there was one person that actually went to jail for that whole, paid ratings and all that stuff. That's crazy. Trillions of dollars, and one person goes to jail over it. I think it was trillions. I'm pretty sure it was trillions. Yeah, it's nuts. Oh, YouTube watcher, you go to casinos? I used to like casinos back in the day. Which casino? Well, I don't want you to tell me which one, but good luck. I'll say that. But yeah, I kicked myself for not getting involved, and there were things going on in my life at the time too that I can remember also thinking that I was missing out on something that I should be involved in. I didn't know what it was. I can remember thinking it clear as day, like, man, there's really something, I feel like there's something I should be looking into. It's just weird. Weird to think back like that. Yeah, right, Dan. Exactly. And it wasn't even a banker. It was like someone that worked at the rating agency or something. It was like a desk person, if I remember right. It wasn't even, it was so crazy. But if you want to get really pissed off, watch The Big Short, because it's a great movie. It's entertaining, but I can tell you this, after I watched it the first time, and I didn't watch it whenever it first came out. It was years later, probably a couple years later, that I watched it, and I can remember being so mad that I couldn't even talk to like my friends or family for like a day. I was so mad at what had happened and what they let happen. It was just, I don't know. I'm getting emotional right now about it because I was so mad. Oh, I can tell you another story too. I might have actually talked about Netflix on the stream before. I feel like I've had this same conversation on the stream, but it's been quite a while. So let me tell you my Netflix story. So my Netflix story is that in 2000, 2000, I can remember I had a friend at work, and they were getting DVDs delivered to them. And I was like, wow, that's kind of weird, you know, because at the time, we would all go to Blockbuster, right? Friday nights, Thursday nights, the movies came out, you would go to Blockbuster, and it was like this big thing, right? And I kind of miss those days because it was kind of fun. It was like an adventure. But anyway, so, you know, we would go to Blockbuster, and then there was this business called Netflix that delivered DVDs, and they would do it in 2 days or less or something. And I was like, wow, that's kind of cool, you know. I guess it kind of makes sense. But then I was thinking about the inconvenience of it, you know, having to, which is kind of silly, but having to mail it and all that stuff. You know, come to find out, obviously they included their own mailer and all that stuff. So it was pretty easy, seamless, but I didn't know, you know, that at the time. But, you know, super cool business model and all that stuff. Then I didn't really do much with it as far as, you know, I didn't buy any stock in it or anything. I was just kind of watching it. I don't even know what it was back then, like in 2000. I know that it was pretty new. I want to say it IPO'd in 98 or something, maybe 99. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm probably way off on those numbers. It could have been early 90s or something for all I know. But I don't even know what the value was of their stock back then. But they, you know, as time went on, I got involved in some other things that kind of distracted me a lot. Poker came out. I was involved in poker quite a bit, and you know, some other things, just personal stuff that was going on at the time. And so I kind of got distracted. But then years later, I think it was in probably like 2005, 2006. Me and a guy at work were talking, and this is, now remember, this is before, I want to say that was before streaming, because I don't know when they started streaming. When did they start streaming? Was that real later? Was that way later? Was that like 2011, 2012 maybe? I don't remember when they started streaming. Whenever they started streaming, whenever that was, whatever year that was, me and a guy at work, it had to have been close to the market crash though, because I remember Netflix had gone all the way down to about $7, and it was like March or February. I could obviously look all this up. I think it was February or March of 2008. So they must have already started streaming by then. Let's find out. Now I'm super curious here. They've been streaming for 10 years. Yeah, wow, I was right on. Launched in 98, 2007. I can't believe that I remember those dates. That's crazy. Okay. So 2007, they started streaming. Okay, great. All right. So yeah, so it was 2007. It was probably in 2008 whenever I was actually talking about it in the office at work. So we were just you know, bullshitting about stuff and stocks and whatnot, and investing and whatever. And we were looking at Netflix, and they had just started streaming. And I remember I had them, and I had Netflix, and I had the streaming service, and it was not great. Right, even though I had really fast internet, I remember it being kind of pixely and just not really great quality. So that was one thing that we were talking about. It was kind of one of those, how's this going to work? Is this going to work? But more importantly, we were really getting into the weeds on the business model. And we said, hey, how is this going to work? How is Netflix going to survive with streaming services whenever all that would need to happen? The only thing that would need to happen is all of the studios that they were getting the licenses for the videos and the movies that they were streaming, they would just have to jack up their prices just enough to make it not profitable for Netflix to stream to the customers, right? Based on the number of subscribers, all the math that goes along with that. That's really all that would have to happen. And they renewed, and we were seeing news, about studios not renewing licenses for Netflix and all this stuff. So all this stuff was happening, and we were like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work or not. And then what happened? Well, Netflix started producing their own shit, and it was pretty freaking good. You don't have to look much further than Stranger Things, and there's tons of movies that are pretty good. They're not great, but there are a few that are really good. So, Netflix knows what they're doing. I mean, they've got Black Mirror, that's another good series, but they started making their own stuff, and I didn't really see that coming, and so they went from like $7 to, I don't even know what they're at now. $300. so yeah, if we go, let's go max here. So this was we were talking about it in probably March of 2009. Yeah, $5, $6, something around in there. And then I don't know if y'all remember this, but this little debacle right here where it went from 42 down to looks like 10. So this little blip right here was caused by, I don't know if you guys remember that, but they were going to rebrand. They were, what was the name of it? It was something like, they were rebranding to, I'm gonna have to look this up too. Quick Flicks? Was that what it was? Yeah, Netflix rebranding failure. Quickster, that's what it was, Quickster. So they were gonna rebrand to Quickster, and everybody's like, huh? You're gonna do what? And they were on a tear too. You saw that chart, it was like, went from 5 to 40, right? And then, oh yeah, by the way, we're gonna rebrand, Yeah, crazy. Okay, so maybe it wasn't FlixNet. I don't know. I don't know if that was it or not. I think it was Quickster, if I remember right. That's funny. Yeah, see 2011. Quickster. Yeah, that was never going to work. I don't know how you would think that was ever going to work. That was never going to work. Not a rebranding, and I get it. They were trying. I think the goal of it was to transition from or separate the streaming and DVD delivery. I think that's what they were trying to do. But it needs to be one thing. I mean, that's just the way it works. All right. Yeah, right. Microsoft 10 cents and 96, and listen, Microsoft has split a bunch of times since then too, so it's not just a straight 10 cents to, whatever it is now. I don't even know what it is now, but it's not a straight trajectory there because you had those 2-for-1s and all that stuff in between there. So oh wow, I have not been watching the market at all, not even a little bit. This surprises me because they were hanging around whenever I was watching it. It was around in this time frame here. So it was like always just right around 30. So this is quite surprising to see it go up like that. That's crazy. Wow. you can tell it's been a minute since I've looked at traditional market here. Wow, Google's at, oh, and I've got a Google story too because I bought them at IPO at $60 back in 2002, 3, something like that. 2004. I think I bought them at like 60 bucks. And no, I don't still have it. No. I was way impatient. So if I didn't put in, $1,000 and become a millionaire overnight, then I was out. That's the mentality I had back then. So people just get too impatient, I think. And that's what's cool about crypto is, just be patient, I kind of wanted to look at this. I wish I had I guess I could probably have charting tools, but I'm not into the whole trading thing too much. So what I wanted to do, I was talking to Crypto Wendy O about this today, actually. I'm sure that people have done this before, but if you were to let this load, if you were to cut out, because a lot of people don't come to the realization of what exactly this means right here and this right here means. Okay, so this pump right here in the 2017, this was BitConnect, largely caused by BitConnect. All right, which and at the top here is whenever they launched CME futures. And literally the next day, it starts tanking. So if you were to cut out this pump right here, and I don't know about this one. I don't know what was going on in the market there for it to go back up like that. But whatever. If you were to cut, from maybe like right here, all the way through to here, I wonder what that line would look like. It's still a little bit of a upward trend. And then cut out this right here, this a large portion of the 4,000 range to 14,000 range was the plus token scam in China, right? So, because they were buying up all the Bitcoin and causing the price to go up. So if you were to cut out this scam also, actually we probably have it's still an upward trend, right? Over time. So point being is that just don't get impatient. I guess after all that, that's what I'm trying to say is don't be impatient with crypto. Obviously if you're trading, like day trading, and that's on you. You do whatever you want to do, but holding is pretty simple as long as you're just patient, right? Yeah, cool chat stuff. I don't know, y'all get me on these tangents about life and what could have been and all that stuff. Yeah, the Bitcoin thing really annoys the shit out of me though. Because I just kept hearing about it and I was like, that's never gonna work. That's never gonna work. And it still might not, to be honest. You know, you never know. Lots of things can happen. But what I told a lot of people, you know, that say something similar about, you know, it still might fail, and it could, but you know, I think at this point, you know, it's kind of, what do they call that? Like Pandora's box, or, you know, the cat's out of the bag kind of thing. You can't really put it back in there, and as long as there's basically at least two computers communicating with each other, you're probably going to have Bitcoin from here on out, right? So, and along with a lot of other crypto. So I don't think we have to worry about it going away like that, but. I don't even have a Robinhood YouTube watcher. It's not just crypto though, right? It has other stuff on there. I don't even know. I'm a noob on Robinhood for sure. Yeah, a little diversification there, YouTube watcher. Different things. Yeah, I'm pretty much, I got out of all the stock stuff. I basically, because I'm too cautious, I was, you know, obviously you can tell that from the stories that I've told you about Netflix and Google. I'm just a little bit too cautious on the stock side for whatever reason. But I basically was, hey, see you later, Dan. I basically ended with about the same amount that I started with, and that was over several years, you know, like maybe 8 years that I was kind of doing stuff in the market, stock market. So I was just I didn't take enough risk, you know, I guess. So the reward was not very big. So no, I'm not all, I mean, as far as like money invested in stuff, I'm pretty, I am pretty much all in on crypto, actually, for the most part. I don't have any stocks or anything like that right now, additional market stuff. But I have quite a bit in, you know, the more stable, not that anything's stable in crypto, but the more stable cryptos like Bitcoin. Oh, you're, yeah, I keep thinking that you're leaving, Dan. All right, so cheers. I know that's what you said, Dan. I'm telling you that I did. I'm all in on crypto. Yeah. Yeah, right now, I think that, you're right, boss. The market, stock market, ugh, man. I mean, yeah, it's the highest it's ever been, all-time highs and all that stuff. But you know what else is at an all-time high? The debt. So, I don't know. That's kind of scary to me. But I'm not a financial guy, really. But I do kind of keep tabs on that kind of stuff. I hate the debt. I hate how our tax dollars are spent. It really bothers me. Yeah, I don't like that at all. There's a few things that they could do that would help. I think. In the war on drugs, legalize some, you know, with the taxes and all that stuff. I think that would help quite a bit from a federal level, not just state. Billy B. You started. That's awesome. That's awesome. Started with $9 and you have 11. That's a pretty good gain, man. I have friends that are like that. I have actually the guy that I talked about earlier. He's kind of like that a little bit with investing and stuff. And I think a lot of people fall into the trap of, okay, so you're telling me that crypto is great and that I can get rich on crypto. Okay, great. Here's $100, right? And I've never had this happen. I'm just saying that this is, I hear about stuff like this. Here's $100. Am I rich yet? Do I have $1 million yet? No, you haven't risked anything. $100? What do you expect? I mean, in 2017, I guess you could have probably done pretty well with $100, and $100 in Bitcoin at the very beginning would have been, you know, millions of dollars now. But you know, my point is that a lot of people think that, you know, they put in, you know, a small amount and they're supposed to just instantly be rich. It's like, it just doesn't work like that, you know. Why does the dollar work? The only reason that the dollar works, the only reason that any currency works, is because you and I are the people transacting with that currency, and the government that it's from says it does. And that's pretty much it. And that was kind of like, whenever I realized that, I was like, man, this is pretty eye-opening stuff right there. Whenever you understand that, like, your currency isn't, it's only there because, and it's only worth anything because you, me, and the government agree it is. That's it. It's not backed by anything, right? It's frustrating. And yeah, you're right, Dan. There's a ton of people that think, there was someone that did a poll recently on it. I think it was on Twitter, and they asked, you know, a large selection of people. Yeah, there you go. I remember it being a really high percentage, like 70%, that thinks that the US dollar is backed by gold. Nope, it's not backed by anything. And in some ways it's backed by oil, but it's kind of like a reverse, because, you know, the way that it works, the US dollar, I think the way it works is the only currency that can be used for purchasing oil. Everything is based on the US dollar. I think that's the way that works. So it's not that it's necessarily backed by oil, but it is tightly linked to that. So yeah. Yeah, government bonds and stuff like that. Yeah, sure. I just mean, if you were to think of like an actual commodity that could be linked to the US dollar, it would definitely be oil before it would be anything else. Yeah. Yep. Good times. I'm backed by Fireball, and that's it. Fireball and sweet tea. I'm good. Oh, let me be right back. So how many people do this? How many people get a Amazon? This just goes to show you how busy I am. So I got this shipment from Amazon, and I haven't even opened it yet. I know what it is, kind of. At least I think I do. It is a MSI Gaming X 1660 Super. So I have to do, I'm going to do an unboxing video probably on it. And then do maybe some mining and stuff like that. I've got to build a better streaming machine and whatnot. So I figured I would get this and test it out. See what's up with it. Do some little, you know, mining, benchmarking, or whatever you want to call it on it. Looks pretty cool. So that's coming. That's it. That should be pretty cool. And I've had this thing like more than a week, I think. What else I got? That's it, I think. Oh, awesome, Daniel. That's cool. I'm interested in that. There was you wouldn't happen to be the guy on that has a video. I want to say he had 4 at the time in the video. He had 4. No, it wasn't Intel. He was using that's right. He was using AMD 3900s, I think. He had 4 3900. It was kind of cool because it was basically like a GPU mining rig, but it wasn't GPUs, it was all CPUs. Kind of neat. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I don't know how to search for it, but yeah, here we go. This is it. Check this out. This is super cool.
So I have my miner finished.
So I really like how it looks like he's modified a Veta frame to do all this, because the Veta frame doesn't look like this. It looks like he's either drilled his own holes here and kind of modified it. This is like really, I don't know, I like this. This is like really clean looking to me. I dig it for sure. Really neat. I like it.
list and the setup.
So this is really cool to me.
Separately, you can see power here.
You know, if you're into like
I'm not running random X
the
yet,
geek stuff, you know, that whole monitor setup with the selector switch for the different CPUs, that is really cool. That's a cool setup. I like it. What's up, Dan? What you need, man? Yeah, this is a really cool setup. All right, Shuby. Thanks for hanging out, man. Oh, that's cool. YouTube watcher. That's neat. That's a good idea, actually. Yeah, it's I'm over 2 hours now, so I think I probably should end it. I know, I mean, it's just tough because I like talking to you guys. So, and there's 10 of y'all in here, so it's like, this is neat, you know. I like doing this kind of stuff. Just chit-chatting. I wish I had like more stuff to do, like set up, you know, but I don't at this point. I mean, I kind of wanted to do sort of a separate video for unboxing that GPU and, you know, setting it up and stuff. So I'll probably do that. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow, you know, and get that going. I can't believe I've had that GPU for more than a week. And it's just sitting there. I just now opened the box, you know, the Amazon box. Kind of funny. So, yeah, I think I'm going to get out of here, and I will talk to you guys later. Kind of sucks, though, because there's 10 of y'all in here. But, you know, if I don't end it, I'll just sit here and yap all night. So, all right, I will see you guys probably tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a stream tomorrow night with the GPU. Maybe we'll get it up and running on Hashr8 OS, maybe. I don't know. We'll see what happens. That'll be kind of interesting. What else I got going on? I think that's about it. All right, all. I'm going to end it, man. I will see you guys tomorrow night, most likely. Stay savage, everybody. Take care.